please put a hand together for our second speaker of the day, who is about to take the giant leap from school life to college life at Pune. Please put your hands together for Garvit. Autobiography, why would you name it?
Okay, see, on one side of the coin of my life is that I really love to be intellectual, and that phase only arises with very limited number of people who I have a very different bond I share with. So one aspect of life that I always love to talk about is, it is one thing very common, but think you just try and make it complicated since you put it the way you put it around. So I'll name my autobiography as the mystery between decisions and circumstances. And I'd like to lay out many incidents of my life where I'll try and correlate the decisions of your life and circumstances of your life, which inter-influence the both and created new situations out of the way. And I'll try and correlate it so that many people can understand whatever comes out of your life is not to be regretted for on the later end. And I'll try and produce the maximum positivity out of that situation. That is what I think.
Alright, all the best.
What seems to have engulfed the national spirit of a nation, where people are mere worthy of discussion and there is no action? The influx of patriotism arises with a martyr's post on Facebook and ends within seconds as you scroll down to give another look. Astonishing to see the condemn of our nation in contrast to countries abroad. Our dear Indians have forgotten their glorious history and the method to Lord. All of us have mastered the job of critics to point out the wrong and right, where our thoughts end in words and action is not in sight. Good afternoon, august members of the forum. I am here to deliver my module number 2, and I have entitled my speech as The Loss of Action and Nationalism in the Indian Society. Before I proceed ahead with my speech, I'd like you all to know that there might be many exceptions to what I will talk about, but if today, witnessed on a holistic note, majority of the Indians constituting our society are nothing much but worthless talkers. Living a self-obsessed life, it has been witnessed that the current Indian society is entrapped in the monotony to achieve success at the earliest stages of their lives. Most of our lives are enrooted with thoughts which are primarily aimed at personal benefits, achievements, and our own targets. Targeting the Indian lifestyle, nationalism is seen in bits every morning, portrayed in the most undignified tone by the so-called expert critics who merely sip their teas behind the newspapers and have nothing more to do than throwing up comments on day-to-day events. In the recent times, it has been jaw-dropping to see the change in attitude of the non-residential Indian youth, which has so blindly adopted and molded itself into the Western standards that without giving a second thought, they exclaim, "Ah, India sucks, man, it's nowhere near the States." I gravely feel saddened that on one note, these people are merely doing anything for the nation, and in addition of not protecting the dignity of the country, they enact in such a boastful manner. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pity today to see most of our countrymen with almost nil national spirit. There are countless instances when we people with a short-lasting volatility of temperament explode with our sound opinions on day-to-day events, like comments on lack of driving sense of other Indians, or maybe critical reviews of the Indian cricket team where you are completely helpless, or maybe talking about or having a heated discussion on the failure of our government. But what comes at the end? What is the conclusion? When you point out, when you crave, when you frustrate, and you leave it at the words, there is no action, all your efforts drives down the drain. Let us take one more example. For instance, everybody walking down the road or crossing it would see the uncovered drains, the problem arising due to the uncovered drains, or maybe the huge stacks of waste piled up on the corners of the road. But tell me, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you will have the courtesy, will have that botheration, will have the time out of the common people to report the matter to the concerned authorities or the municipality, for instance? All we would do is wait for an effort by a fellow Indian who would be thinking the same. In my opinion, we need to think deep into our conscience and ask ourselves, before I proceed, can I request everyone except the QM and the proctor to please close their eyes, because I really want you to introspect and go in with the feeling of the words that I portray right now. It's a request. I want you all to delve deep inside your hearts and ever find out those selfless efforts that you have ever made towards your nation without any need or any greed. You need to understand that this is a deep thought. Whatever you think or plan to do for a nation does not matter, that whatever action you will do is how great in magnitude. What matters is that you are making an effort. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a small step, a very small step, but if taken together with everybody, it will lead to a revolutionized, changed and an idealized society. Before I drive my speech towards the end, all of you can open your eyes now. Before I drive my speech towards the end, I'd like you all to remind you of the Indian Army. I quote Captain Manoj Kumar, Paramveer Chakra Medallion, 1st Battalion of the Gorkha Rifles, who once said, "If death comes before I prove my blood, I swear I will kill death." Ladies and gentlemen, when we are reminded of such dauntless humans who were born on the same motherland as we were, who took upon themselves the responsibility to protect the frontiers at the stake of their lives, we should have at least that bit of shame to protect the dignity of our nation whenever required and to give some bit of our precious life towards it. Do introspect yourselves to find out what for your country have you done in this narcissist life stretch. Your conscience will bow in shame when you will find no approving answer to fetch. Posting opinions online will not suffice. Make an effort and enact to let our society realize. For even then, if you fail to make an effort of any size, stay one day at the Indian Army base to see the craving in the soldier's eye for sacrifice. It will be enough to start a fire of nationalism and patriotism in your heart. Dear Indians, fellow mates, it is never too late to give your efforts a new start. Thank you.